I'm feeling very anxious, butterflies in my stomach, but I'm very excited. For some reason, it never occurred to me that my mom wanted to get my ears pierced. I allowed myself to think about it for myself, and then me and Dad started talking about it and had a huge conversation about it, and so now we are here.
She was completely bought into what I was saying. And she thought about it a lot and discussed it with me.
Because there is differing opinions about what happened back then.
That doesn't know how to let it go.
You won't believe the tea we're spilling today. From secret breakups to shocking lies, this is Unreal Tea. Hit subscribe before the drama starts. Welcome, everyone. A proposal that shattered everything. What if the man you trusted, most the one who raised you, guided you, suddenly turned and crossed a line so warped, it hit the headlines worldwide? What if that line was not merely emotional, but deeply abhorrent? In this explosive news from within the Brown family, Kody Brown, the polygamist father at the center of TLC's Sister Wives, secretly proposes in a move that would not only ruin his reputation, but tear the family apart in ways no one could possibly have dreamed. Aurora Brown, Robyn's daughter and Kody's adopted daughter, finds herself at the eye of a storm that begins with whispers and concludes with worldwide outrage. From shuddering scenes behind closed doors to viral courtroom theater, public betrayals, network cancellations, and national reckoning about abuse and spiritual manipulation, this is not the tale TLC wanted you to know, and yet, it's the one the world is finally hearing. The House of Tension, the mansion air was heavy, a crawling, bitter blend of fear and shattered vows. Robyn Brown's fantasy house once, the promise of forever family now, stood as a tomb. The Arizona sun had lost its luster, bronzing to bruise, and within, Aurora sat by herself, scrolling her phone with a scrunched-up face. The walls had learned too many secrets. The walls creaked under pressure. Kody has hung around too near recently. Too long. His eyes held her for what seemed like hours. His flattery too slick? Too practiced. Aurora attempted to push it aside. He lifted her. He adored her. But it was not right. That evening, as Robyn stayed in the bedroom above, laid low by a headache and worry over bills that had gone unpaid, Kody isolated Aurora in the kitchen. Cicadas outside howled like warning sirens. "You've grown into a lovely woman, Aurora," he breathed, voice shaking. "You're all I ever loved in this world." Aurora halted. "You don't need to say that," she grumbled, stepping back. "You've always been like a father to me." But his eyes had grown darker. And then was the sentence that tore it all apart. "You're not actually my daughter. Not biologically. I need to marry you." Robyn's breakdown and Kody's delusion. Aurora barricaded herself in the bathroom, breath trembling. She texted her mom, trembling. "Mom, he asked me to marry him. He just asked me to marry him. Kody wants to marry me." Robyn's rage set the hall ablaze. She hammered the door. "Aurora, open this door, now." She stormed down to the kitchen to find Kody pouring a glass of wine with unnatural composure. "You're sick," Robyn spat. "She's not a child anymore," Kody replied. "She knows me. You took her in. She trusted you like a father." "I trusted you. She's a woman now, not a child." Robyn recoiled. "You've lost your mind. You need help. Get out. Now." The fallout hits the other wives. It wasn't long. The house wasn't the only one that was imploding. The entire Sister Wives universe went up in flames. Meri spoke first on Instagram. "What Kody did crosses every moral line. Adopted or not, he raised her. It's wrong. It's sick." Janelle's tweet cut deep. "I sheltered my children from so much, but nothing could prepare me for this. Aurora deserves protection. Christine was vicious. That's why I left. Kody believes he's above the law. Robyn crowned him king. Now, see what happens." Aurora speaks out and broke the internet. A week after that, Aurora posted a raw TikTok video. "I did not want to speak, but I will not defend someone who has betrayed me. He got down on one knee. He gave me a ring from my mom's old jewelry. I was drowning." TLC React Sand shuts it all down. In 48 hours, TLC issued a statement. We are aware of disturbing allegations involving a cast member. Production has been indefinitely halted. Off camera, Robyn hired lawyers. She requested an emergency restraining order. Kody was served days later. He wore no shoes in a gravel driveway, his eyes wide with shock. Did Aurora tell the court I loved her? The officer's response was ice cold. It doesn't matter. You can't get in touch with her again. Therapy, tears, and truth. Robyn sat beside her daughter for the initial therapy session. I'm afraid people think this was my fault, Aurora whispered. The therapist didn't bat an eye. He took advantage of his position. This wasn't attraction. This was control. Aurora cried in her mother's arms for the trust that was broken, the childhood lost. Kody's downfall starts. Kody attempted to explain himself in a hesitant live stream. No one was hurt. I saw love. It was spiritual. The backlash came quickly. You're a predator. You need help, not another wife. Sponsors dropped their support. Cameos canceled. YouTube was demonetized. TLC severed all connections. The harm had been done. Courtroom chaos and national spotlight. The courtroom was abuzz. Protesters outside yelled, "Numbered justice for Aurora. Adopted is not optional." Aurora stood valiantly, voice trembling. He got down on one knee. He wasn't kidding. I ran to the bathroom. I couldn't breathe. The judge replied, "You're brave, Miss Brown." Kody's defense faltered. It was metaphorical, a spiritual moment. The judge sliced him down. You are harmful. The order is extended indefinitely. The family unites without him. Gwendolyn and Gabriel posted a collaborative video. She's our sister. What Kody did was wrong. Janelle, Christine, and Meri all appeared on NBC. We were silent when Garrison died, said Janelle. But not now. Christine. He has no accountability. Aurora deserves healing. Meri. He's not just a failed husband. He failed as a father. Kody's breakdown and involuntary hold. A 911 call from a neighbor reported breaking glass and nonsensical yelling. Kody, bleeding and shoeless, raved at a signed TLC picture in his own backyard. You said I was king, Robyn, I saw the sins. Police were forced to restrain him. He was put on a 72-hour psychiatric hold. The country looked on in horror. Aurora rises again. Aurora started her podcast. Unadopted. Reclaiming my voice. This isn't about me. This is about all the girls who were ever told silence is love. The show went viral. She was asked to Congress. Her testimony was charged. This wasn't confusion. It was spiritual love masquerading as grooming. Lawmakers rose. A bill, Aurora's Law, was introduced to shield adopted children across the country. The final fall of Kody Brown. Christine posted Kody's own handwritten letters. In one, Robyn is Judas in lip gloss. Aurora was chosen. Public opinion hardened. Robyn started writing a memoir. The Loyal Lie. How I Lost Myself to Kody Brown. Publishers competed for it. 7-figure bids showered in. No way back. Kody's parental rights were revoked permanently. A court psychologist branded him narcissistic and delusional. He attempted to regain his role as a prophet. The court laughed him away. The house that was to be the celestial family compound was torn down. The Brown kids scrubbed Kody from their biographies. Aurora was awarded a scholarship in trauma psychology. If I can't change what happened, she told Vogue, I'll make it mean something. Netflix came to her. She signed on one stipulation. This is not about Kody anymore. It's about freedom. Sister Wives isn't finished. It's been taken apart, piece by truth. The show begins not with hospitality or welcome, but with heft. Kody Brown sits rigidly beneath studio lighting facing Sukanya Krishnan, the host who has a target in mind. His gaze flicks back and forth, attempting to get a read on the next hit, but there is no avoiding it. Not tonight. Not any longer. Did you feel you were a good husband to all your wives? Sukanya's tone is unruffled, but the ensuing silence is oppressive. Kody's jaw clenches. He breathes but words escape him. For the first time, his silence speaks louder than his sermons ever did. He stammers over his reply, trying to explain years of uneven love, rationalizing emotional abandonment as logistical constraints. But Sukanya doesn't give him a break. She presses. Why did Christine say she was unloved all these years? Kody bristles. She had a story, he barks. And when she kept with it, there was no space for me. But this time the wives aren't letting him rewrite their tales. Christine sits quietly. But her words are deadly. Kody said to me I was the only wife he didn't love, she recites. Her voice doesn't shake. It's firm and determined. He made me feel like I was intruding. The camera reverts to Kody, clearly shaken. This is no longer damage control. This is complete meltdown. Janelle walks in next. And she's no longer going to be polite. Gone is the peacemaking wife. Behind her is a woman whose tolerance has finally broken from the strain of shattered promises and pretended harmony. I don't even know who he is anymore, Janelle admits. Her voice breaks not with vulnerability, but with anger. When Garrison died, I thought I deserved a father. What I got was a man consumed by blame. The hurt is fresh. The tension? Intolerable. Sukanya leans in. You believe Robyn contributed to the divide? Janelle doesn't hesitate. She didn't just contribute. She cultivated it. A slow gasp ripples across the audience. Kody's face turns crimson. But this isn't about him anymore. The wives have taken back the narrative. Meri follows, looking more distant than ever. But there's no bitterness, only clarity. I spent decades waiting for scraps of attention, she says. I was faithful to a dream. But dreams don't leave people, do. Her words hit like a sledgehammer. She then spills the beans that it was Robyn who told her to make the divorce final, not Kody. That bombshell renders even Sukanya speechless for a moment. He said I could find someone who loved me. Meri remembers, eyes glistening. But he never intended it. He only wanted to make way for Robyn. Christine nods. For the first time, all three ex-wives sit together not in bitterness, but in freedom. The attention turns. Sukanya turns to Kody and asks the question hanging over every shot. Do you regret how you treated them? Kody's response isn't a response. It's a storm. I was balancing. I was juggling chaos. I was doing the best I could. His voice rises. But the crowd isn't convinced. And neither are the women who used to adore him. Christine shakes her head. You were juggling control, not love. Robyn shows up at last. Tears stream down her face. Mascara smeared. She still comes to Kody's defense once more. But this time, her voice shakes under the strain of loneliness. I just wanted the family to stay together, she whispers. I didn't mean for it to end like this. But it did. And now, she's alone at the center of a kingdom that crumbled in her favor. Janelle fires the final shot. You can't claim unity when you've always had privilege. The women rise, each in their own way, each walking away stronger, freer, and finally heard. And Kody? He remains in his seat, alone. The camera dims not to black but to reality. The sister wives are no longer wives, they're warriors. And this was their war cry. The show opens not on a whisper, but on a storm. Kody Brown's eyes are afire as she fixes a stare on Robyn on the stage. The electricity is palpable, the air nearly crackling with unresolved tension. Audiences are drawn in immediately to a spine-tingling silence as Sukanya Krishnan looks between the women, aware of the emotional minefield she's stepping into. What actually occurred among you and Kody that evening? She questions. That one question doesn't simply hang in the air, it explodes. This isn't any old tale. We're not only seeing a family disintegrate, we're seeing decades of secrets, loyalty, betrayal, and raw human emotion burst in real time. Kody Brown is visibly rattled. His meticulously constructed myth begins to fall apart, not only based on what others say, but based on his own contradictions. The moment is biblical, a reckoning. And as the wives tell their truths, one after another, we see, this isn't about polygamy anymore. It's about freedom. It's about survival. Janelle's anguish is palpable. She doesn't mince words. Her voice shakes as she speaks. I stayed so long because I thought it would get better. But it only got lonelier. That admission packs a wallop. She's not merely a wife anymore, she's a woman who's been emotionally abandoned, gaslit, and finally awakened. Christine leans forward, her knuckles white, gripping her seat. I pleaded with you, Kody, she pleads. I pleaded with you to be there for our children. You didn't even attempt it. And then there's Meri remaining quiet throughout much of the episode, yet finally speaking in a calm that's more sinister than anger. I divorced you legally to enable your other wife to adopt children, she says. Kody. And you couldn't even provide me with emotional respect in return. The silence that ensues is deafening. What makes this tell-all more incendiary than any previous ones is the unvarnished way in which each wife now speaks. They no longer are seeking validation or attempting to repair a fractured foundation. They're torching it. And Robyn, who was once protected by Kody's machismo, is now openly disintegrating. Her tears no longer evoke sympathy from viewers, question them instead. Suki advances with ruthless accuracy. Christine, do you think Robyn manipulated things to become the legal wife? The camera zooms in on Christine's face. She doesn't blink. Absolutely. Robyn shakes her head, voice cracking. That's not true. I didn't want this. But the room is icy. The trust is lost. The damage is done. When we cut back to Kody, we see a man trapped by the products of his own doing. He's not mad. He's empty. Like a person finally realizing he can't charm or yell his way out of reality. This tell-all is different because the fantasy is gone. Each emotional strand that held this family quilt together has unraveled and broken. The wives are no longer part of a shared dream, they're survivors of a shared delusion. And the audience? We're not just watching. We're witnessing a historical moment in reality TV, the death of a dynasty. And yet, there's hope. In Janelle's newfound strength, in Christine's liberation, in Meri's quiet departure. There's pain, yes, but there's also power, a reclamation. The episode ends with a final shot of Kody alone. No wives, no families. Only a man with the sound of his own choices hanging in the air. And as the screen goes black, the audience is left with one question that sends a shiver down the spine. What comes next when the truth is finally louder than the deceit? The stark emotion continues to rage like wildfire as the third installment plays out, pulling viewers deeper into the collapse drama of the Brown family. As we return to the tell-all, the studio no longer feels like a neutral ground, but a war zone reeking of tension, years in silence. Kody's faces are no longer merely frustrated ones, they're a whirlwind of guilt, denial, and desperation. Robyn sits like a statue, frozen by the crushing weight of truth that appears to creep closer with each passing sentence. At the same time, Christine stands tall with assertive confidences. He is sure of what she is about to utter will flip the script. Sukanya Krishnan, the perpetually calm host, tilts her head slightly forward, brow furrowed in interest and wariness, as she asks the question that cuts through the room like a knife. Christine, do you think Robyn egged Robyn on to kick Meri out? The studio falls silent. 1 second is like an eternity. Christine slowly, deliberately nods. Yes. I think Robyn wanted Meri gone. And I think Kody followed. The response is seismic. Robyn gasps, her face etched with shock. Kody's jaw hardens, and Meri's already weary eyes constrict in an awareness both new and painful. The charge isn't about favoritism anymore. It's about orchestration. Christine, showing unflinching courage, strips away the layers of deception and insinuation that have long plagued the Brown home. She describes instances when Robyn would trap Kody following a family meeting, speaking in a hushed, urgent tone and furtive glances. She saw Meri left out more often, birthday dinners skipped, calls not returned, and she saw Kody growing colder, less empathetic toward Meri, as if there had been a switch. It wasn't always this way, Christine says. There was a time he respected her, but once Robyn joined the family, things were never the same again. Meri, while surprised, doesn't strike back first. Instead, there is a lengthy silence as she collects herself. Then, speaking almost in a whisper, I knew the dynamics were changing, but I didn't know how much of it could have been done on purpose. The camera turns to Robyn, who nods slowly, tears welling up. "That's not right," she whispers. "I never wanted to ruin this family. I wanted to be a part of it." But Christine doesn't relent. "You may have wanted to be a part of it, but not if it meant to share Kody. You've been center, Robyn. Always. And it hurt the rest of us more than you'll ever acknowledge." The drama peaks when Sukanya turns to Kody, asking point blank, "Did Robyn influence your decision to spiritually and emotionally separate from Meri?" Kody fumbles for words, stumbling over sentences. "It wasn't about Robyn," he insists. "It was about compatibility. About our dynamic." But the avoidance in his tone says it all. The emotional accounting keeps going as Sukanya pushes on. "Did you ever love Meri the way you said you did in the early seasons?" Meri's face goes cold. She doesn't want to hear his response, she knows already. Christine observes the scene, arms folded, the red folder marked "The Truth" still at her side, representing all she is ready to utter. And then comes a twist no one anticipates. Janelle, reserved until this point, finally gets a word in. "This isn't about blame. This is about healing. We can't just keep acting like Robyn didn't profit off our losses. But we have to move on, too." Her voice shakes but doesn't crack. "Garrison's death? It tore us all open. There's no room for old lies anymore. Only room for truth." The set falls silent once more. The weight of Garrison's memory, holding everyone in place. Even Robyn, surprised, drops her eyes in despair. Sukanya closes the segment softly, indicating the last half of the tell-all is imminent. Next week, we ask what comes next once all the secrets are revealed. What sort of future remains to be built? Fade to black, but the viewers are left abuzz with speculation. Christine's bombshell, Meri's quiet heartbreak, Robyn's emotional unraveling, and Kody's evasive guilt all converge into a climax that promises even more revelations ahead. This isn't just reality TV, it's a family legacy torn apart before millions of witnesses. And the truth? It's just getting started. The Brown family was silent to every woman now in a different emotional nation, but all still gravitating toward the same force field, Kody's breakdown. The camera switched to Janelle, her face inscrutable, her hands twisting a tissue she had not even known she had been holding onto. Her words were controlled, but just barely. "I never thought we'd come to this point," she said, "where grief and betrayal sit at the same table." 10 minutes earlier, Robyn had called an emergency family meeting something she hadn't done in months. The air in the living room crackled with nervous energy. Christine arrived first, arms crossed, eyes darting. Meri followed, walking like she'd already made peace with whatever bomb was about to drop. Janelle arrived last, and her expression told the whole story. She was not here to haggle. Robyn was in the middle, clutching a folder full of what she referred to as evidence. "I want to reveal to you what actually transpired," she began. "What Kody explained to me, what I assumed, and where I now think I was mistaken." Her hand shook as she pulled open the folder. In the background were screenshots, texts, emails, and even bank statements. The women sat open-mouthed as Robyn exposed the history of money flows, hushed words, and vows Kody made to her that never included the others. A loan this way, a trust fund that way. An emergency fund Janelle did not even know existed. Christine was the one who broke the silence. "So, you're admitting now that you were complicit?" "I'm saying I was lied to just like you," Robyn snapped back. Her voice breaking. Meri, oddly peaceful, merely stated, "You had a choice, Robyn. You just didn't want to see it." The air was charged. Janelle got up. "So what are we supposed to do with this now? The money's gone. The trust is broken. What now?" That's when Robyn uttered something everyone least expected. "I'm selling the Flagstaff house. Every cent of it will go back to pay what's Owedo Garrison's memory fund, to the Coyote Pass dream you all believed in." For a moment, no one took a breath. Christine's lips parted ever so slightly. Janelle blinked. Meri's head tilted, weighing. "You're serious?" Janelle whispered. Tears streamed down Robyn's face. "It's all I have left to give." The camera stayed on the faces of the other wives. This was not forgiveness. Not yet. But it was the first time Robyn had openly made a choice between humility and denial. That night, Janelle and Christine sat together in Christine's kitchen. The two women drank a bottle of wine and the kind of silence that signaled safety rather than distance. "She's trying," said Christine, without looking up. "She is," Janelle answered, "but I don't know if trying is enough anymore." The emotional devastation caused by Garrison's death remained suspended in the air like mist. Janelle had begun making plans for a scholarship fund in his name. He wanted to be remembered as someone who helped others. She explained in a talking head monologue. Not as someone forgotten by his own family. Meanwhile, Meri had started to pack up her inn. It was never really a business, she said. It was independence. But perhaps it's time I begin again properly, begin again. In another neighborhood, Christine and David sat on the porch and watched Truly and David's children play in the yard. "Do you think they'll ever be all right?" Christine asked. David put his hand over hers. "They're kids. They adjust. We're the ones who bear the brunt." Christine nodded. "It just doesn't feel real, even now." Then there was the twist. Kody had been quiet for weeks, but producers confirmed he'd asked to tape a private statement. No wives, no children, just Kody and the camera. "I messed up," he said, voice low. "I thought I could juggle love and leadership. I thought I was creating something from heaven. But I destroyed it. I destroyed them." He showed a photograph of the whole family when they still resided in Lehi, Utah. The photo shook in his hand. "If this is what I leave with," he muttered, "then I don't want their forgiveness. But I still hope for it." The screen went dark. This family's drama is far from over, so smash like if you're number Team Wives, subscribe for the next explosive update, and drop a comment below. Who do you think will win? Stay shady, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next scandal. Behind TLC Sister Wives out.